Alright, greetings again, everyone, and welcome. As we often say, we give God thanks for life, health, for strength, for clothing me in my right mind. We're thankful for those who continue to log on and share and like and comment, whether be it negative or positive. We welcome it all. So, this one is about the hardness of the office of an apostle, along with what he went through some time ago in Newport News. He details that traveling, going to specific countries, especially if that country is against the religion of holiness. If we say we are Christians and we step into certain countries, we will be on their radar if we don't see eye to eye, especially countries that don't separate their earthly laws from the biblical laws. And I believe Saudi Arabia is one of these countries. So if the biblical law says if you're caught stealing, one of your hands should be removed, and that's exactly what they will do. So Pastor Jennings' office of an apostle is not a cake and ice cream office. It's not one where a person fill out an application for the post. It's a God-given position. There are blessings that come with it, and also persecution. So we're going to hear what the leader has to say.
We believe with God's help that he will take us there and bring us back. In February, God willing, we'll be in India, if it be the Lord's will, for the South Indian Convention. From South India, we go to East India, new area, never been in. From East India, I fly to Asia, to the country of Burma, which would be the most violent country I would have been in thus far. We'll be out the country for approximately 3 weeks, more or less, probably more. We're scheduled to return back here to the States on the 2nd or the 3rd, if everything go well in Burma. Burma is a hotbed, is unpredictable. We're scheduled to leave out of there the 2nd or the 3rd, but depending upon what happened in Burma, it can keep us there 5 days, it can keep us there 10 days, it can keep us there a month. This is how unstable Burma is.
Alright, so this country that Pastor is making a reference to, Burma, they have changed its name from Burma to Myanmar. It's a place where their religious persuasion is Buddhist, and I believe when the government come down is Buddhist, but in every country we will have persons in there, a remnant will be saying that they're Christians. And in these countries, Christians are having a hard time, churches were forbidden to be built in Myanmar. Military officials, were the rebels. They take away the food of the people. Crosses were taken from buildings. Christians were restricted in holding Bible study, prayer and worship. And if they wanted to do these things, they would have to submit, I believe, a written request 15 days prior before they can hold worship. I mean, there are some stringent laws over there in regards to Christians. So Christians are actually experience what the word talks about in some of these countries. So we in the Western Hemisphere here, we might be going through a little bit here and there, but in terms of death, life-threatening trials, I mean, we over on this side of the Western Hemisphere, we don't even start to experience what they are going through as yet.
It is the most unstable place that I would have been in thus far. But I do hope that there are brothers going with us to India and to Asia. If there are any women going to India, there will not be any sisters going to Asia. It'll be my first time there in this part of Asia is very extremely violent, and because of that, we will not have no sisters going whatsoever for any reason of any kind. Just brothers that are not afraid. You know, there's nothing wrong if you run, just don't leave me behind. Grab me by the hand. If I can't keep up, drag me, but just get me out of there. Burma is an extremely violent country that have extreme hate for Americans. It is a country that consists of guerrilla warfare. It is a type of country where you have to go in the jungle. And men who don't work for the government, a whole separate military regime, will walk up to your Jeep or truck, demand your passport. And to see American, well, you're liable to be held hostage or either killed. More so if they see, quote unquote, Christian attached to your belief. It is a embedded hate for church. The country of Burma is Buddhist. That is the predominant religion, Buddhist. And then next percentage of Islam, but 99.9 Buddhist. Idolatry. Fellow with a fat stomach and bald head, smiling. They will kill you if you speak against Buddha. I mean, go past beating you. They will kill you. Some years ago, a missionary went over there without God, trying to convert people. They found him, maybe several months later, with over 2,000 holes in him. They slowly tortured him. So when we go to these places, like I tell the people, I don't travel for fun. I'm not out there risking my neck for fun because I don't get not a drop of fun out of it. So I do hope and pray that there are some brothers going with us, especially to Burma. We do want you to go to India and Burma. But we do hope some brothers are going with us over to Asia. It'll be our first time there, and it will be, God willing, a standard trip. We are to meet with the ministers over there for the first time to discuss biblical issues, what they believe, what they don't believe, what they understand, what they don't understand. And also we are to get into Venezuela, Chile, South America. And then who knows what other doors God will open for First Church in 2009. We don't know. It is easy to sit back and say, oh, God is blessing the church. Pastor Jennings is traveling. I don't enjoy it. There was a time I did, because I was going into areas that, wow, this is beautiful. I'm here, I'm there. Now, I do it only because God says it. I don't get enjoyment out of doing it. I do it only because the Lord says it and I'm sent to do it. If there was another alternative and a way out, I would take it. Ignorant men who don't understand and say, oh, I wish I had your calling. Stay away from that person. For that's a dangerous spirit. Why would you wish something that, and I don't even want? And I don't, but it's this, and I think about it, this being Pastor Jennings thing doesn't always give you joy at all. It's burdensome, you know, because you have so many hating you, and you'll have some folk hate you that'll come to church every day and want you dead. Some. Yes, I done had people that was in First Church and wanted me dead and tried to organize among themselves to have me dead. I had members in First Church, men and women, that bind themselves together to try to have me killed. But I'm well alive. And I ain't going nowhere no time soon. I ain't going. The Lord showed me. Lord ain't show you nothing. I saw your funeral. I saw you laying in the casket. All right, you should have got me out of there. I ain't going nowhere no time soon. I know that if I was to die, you will see something manifest out of people that you would be shocked. Some would rejoice. There are some follow me actually waiting for me to die. Do you know who they are? Yes, I saw them over 3 years ago. God made me a watchman. I sit and shake hands with my enemy and sit and eat with them and talk with them and even let them travel with me at times. I've sat in the office and counseled with them and advised them and knew they were my enemy. I experienced that. A man tried to take my life in Newport News.
So, this is where PJ was detailing what almost transpired. It goes to show you how standing for the word in an uncompromising way can be detrimental. And as I said before, standing in an uncompromising way, there are blessings that follow. So it comes with both. It's not just blessing, it comes with persecution as well. And we see where a lot of denomination has gotten into the habit of just coming to church on a Saturday or on a Sunday, they jump and dance and all of that is good. Then go back home. But it's a lot more than that. And there's persecution that comes as well. Even though when persecution comes, Jesus says rejoice. At one point the apostles were beaten after they were told not to preach in that name. And they went away rejoicing after being beaten for the name of the Lord. So the side of the gospel where many have turned a blind eye to, I believe that they should start to look back on that side, the serious side of it, the death threats. I don't take it lightly when the Lord wakes me up in the morning and bring me through the day safely. I don't take it lightly.
With a hunter's knife, try to cut my chest open. He didn't come to shave my face. You don't shave with a hunter's knife? No. I was on my way back to the hotel and I noticed a car kept following me, so I deliberately went away I ain't had to go. I deliberately went around certain streets. Follow me. Pull up to the gas station, pump my gas, fella pull up, open his, door. You took my woman. I'm like, who? Me? Who are you? I don't know you. He said, you Pastor Jennings? I said, yes. You preach against remarriage and divorce. My wife left me. I said, sir, your beef is not with me. Your beef is with God. Well, he couldn't see God. He saw me pumping gas. So when he stepped out that car and he kept going up, way taller than I am, looking like he's pushing close to 300, a bald head. His head was like a giant lima bean. This man 3 and 4 or 5 times my size, man. I do my body. I don't mind body boxing. I come up with that. But I got sense enough to know my frame, he gonna brush off what I throw at his body. He'd be like a mosquito biting him. And I wasn't gonna let him wrestle me. I wasn't stupid. I was street smart. You don't let a man that size wrestle you. What for? Someone said, why run? If you got a hunter's knife, obviously you know how to use it. Why would I run with leather-soled shoes? Where am I gonna get to? I said, Pastor Gino, you should have prayed. You're right, but I didn't think of it. So I don't believe in trying to project something I'm not. I didn't think of it. Yeah, but see, when he started talking, he was talking to Pastor Jennings. But when that hunting knife swung on me, he swung on Gino. Can I get an amen? Yeah, he swung on Gino. See, I keep it real. I wasn't down there, oh, Jesus, do something, Jesus. No. See, I waited on the Lord. You know, but Gino stepped in. You know, that hunter's knife, man, that blade was yay long, and the blade like was about as wide as my hand. He was swinging all while. The sound of that thing, when it first swung past me, it whistled. Just straight. I'm like, whoa, whoa, Jack, whoa. Right then, Pastor Jennings, you know what I mean? You know, Pastor Jennings, he may went and sat in the car somewhere. It was just Nick and him. It was Huntington Park, where I was from, and Newport News. See, I kept it real, man. And when he swung the second time, I felt all Huntington Park. I can tell by my body motion. It was nothing but Huntington Park. I just started bobbing and weaving. I'm like, oh, something got to give. I wasn't, the Lord rebuke you. No. See, some folk get this over-righteous way about them and get, oh, I never do this. I don't get into that I will never do. No, I ain't getting that. No, I don't do that. No. See, I ain't going to tell you, you know, if you bother my wife, I'm just going to stand there and pray. Because I'm not a violent man. I'm a very peaceful fella. I don't like violence. I don't advocate violence. That's why I try to stop it. So when he started swinging on me, you know, I bobbed and weaved, but I knew that couldn't go on with a man that was 300 pounds. And he charging at you, swinging wild. When he swing wild, he would get off balance. So then I had to use street smarts, to use this off balance to my advantage. I had to use his weight against him. You know, so when he swung and whatnot, and I'm ducking, I tried to just use my speed. I just wanted to close his eyes. I got to do something. So I agreed to make some modifications. And most preachers wouldn't tell you that. But I keep it real with you. I had to make some modifications, man. Every time he swing and was wild, I was on the side of him. Pow! He swung again all while I was on the pow! Until that eye started getting red, I felt like I was hitting the wall. Swing all while again, pow, pow, pow. Before you know it, that eye was closed. And I just stayed on that blind side. By that time, when you don't want the police, when you need the police, they ain't nowhere around. When you don't want them, they're right there. You know, like when you're speeding. By that time, here you got a crowd of people. There was 2 females inside the gas station, and they crying, somebody do something, somebody do something, somebody do something. I'm like, everybody's folks stand out there. You know, and at the time, I'm not worrying about my face is seen on television. I'm worrying about living. And that one eye just made him more mad. He swung wild and got real off balance, and I rolled and stepped in back of him and guided him while he was bent, and just guided him with momentum right into the corner, the gas pump, with all the might I had, until that shoulder dropped, disconnected. You could see it just drop. That didn't stop him. He was like a bull from Mexico. I was like, this is ridiculous. You know, because by that time, man, you huffing and puffing, backing up, like you wrestling the angel. You know, so he still ain't stopped. He came at it again. And that's when I concluded somebody gonna have to bring all things to an end. And I knew my life was not designed to end at a gas station. My life wasn't designed for that. No. So his shoulder was dislocated, and when he started swinging again, I forgot what kind of movement I'd done with my body, but I managed to get in back of him and got a hold of the arm that was dislocated and took all 168 pounds of my weight and dropped it on the back of his elbow until the whole elbow just went up that way. By that time, the blade hit the ground, and so did he. And I'm back on the car just huffing. See, when that adrenaline wear off, you tired. But when that adrenaline kick in, you like, yeah, come on, yeah, man. Yeah, now, Jack. Then the police come up. Traditionally late like the cavalry. And wouldn't you know, they recognized who I was. Fellow walk over, police walk up to me. Police asking different ones questions. You know, the paramedics, one of the paramedics, it was so funny. The paramedics thought that the guy was in a car accident. Paramedic asked, you know what happened? You know, the folks come around, well, that's what doesn't happen. So the paramedic asked me, he's like, you did that? I said, yeah. He looked at me. He said, but he's bigger than you. I said, yeah, I know that. He said, you did that? I said, yeah. I said, the man wanted to kill me. What do you think I'm going to do? He says, man. Police come up. Wanted a statement. Another police recognized who I was. He said, aren't you Pastor Jennings? See, right then I got shame, you know. I was like, yeah. Yeah. Eyes him, yeah. I was all ashamed. I was like a little boy. I was like, and then the police is like, this is what I'm talking about. Give your life for the gospel. I said, I ain't ready to die now. I'm not ready to die now. So the sergeant was like, well, look, we're going to have to take a statement where you stand. I said, hey, I'm right over there, man. He said, well, hey, give us your room or whatnot. We're going to stop by. So they stopped over. Boom, boom, we talked. He said, you going to press charges? I said, no. He said, what? I said, I ain't going to press those charges, man. The guy, his beef really wasn't with me, per se. His beef was with this. You know, that's his beef. He said, you going to press those charges? I said, no, I ain't going to press those charges, man. You know, send him to jail. What for? You know, perhaps he'll get his life straight and get something together. You know, he was like, wow, he was a good man. I said, well, whatever. Called my wife. She said, hey. I said, hey. She said, how was service? I said, well, you know, we had a good time. And I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her what happened until like a long while. I just told her. I said, well, you know, sometimes you got to fight the devil, girl. It wouldn't do no good to tell her. If I would have told her what happened, all I would have heard was, Gino, oh my God, oh my God. No, I'm glad I was alone. Because if my wife and family was there, that would put me in a crazy position. Because he could have attacked my wife. He could have attacked my children. Then somebody really would have got hurt. That would have put me in a very awkward position. I'm glad that brothers of the security team wasn't there. Because then it really would have been A very interesting beatdown. Like Rodney King. Yeah. So, I mean, if one person jump on me, I can handle myself. Now, if a gang of them jump on me, don't stand back and tell me to endure. You do something. Pastor Gino, be an example. And all you hear is, Pastor Gino is an example. He's suffering. No, you don't help me, you gonna suffer. Yeah, that's the way that is, Jack. You gonna suffer. Y'all be praying for one for another. Please pray for us as we travel from place to place, people. I'm telling you, Burma will be the most dangerous country we would have ventured in thus far. Going in is one thing. Coming out, that's the task. This is the most tedious place I would have ever been. I have never been to a place where going out is difficult. Coming out of Burma will be difficult. Only way it don't be difficult, God somehow by his great power make everything be smooth, and I pray that's exactly how things go. We don't know how the phone lines are over there. We may not even be able to call anyone about nothing. I may not even be able to call home because the places we go to in the world sometimes do not have the finest hotels. Some places we stay in, there are no hotel, there's no phones in the hotels, period. None. There's no hotels, there's no room service, there's insect-infested beds. No, it ain't always no luxury. When I was in Sierra Leone, I stayed at supposed to be, I think, a 3 or 4 star hotel. When I got there was no stars on the hotel. None. None. The bed was covered in ants, and I didn't know it till I got in it. Started scratching. Man, you thought I was a dog with fleas. I jumped up. I'm like, dang. Looked at my headboard. Ants just covering the wall, marching. Ha! You turn the shower on and take a shower, your water come out brown. I'm telling you, it ain't fun, man. It is not fun. When I was in Sierra Leone, brother, I almost broke down crying several times sitting in my hotel room. I was there for so long. Several times I almost cried. Actually, almost cried. I did not want to be there. I started hating the place. I did not want to be there. There was nothing to eat. Nothing to eat. Your water was brown. It was 4 hours going just to preach and 4 hours coming back. When you got off the truck, you was covered in red dust from a red clay dirt road. It was exhausting. And yet we got to go back again. This time to about 3 and 4 countries in about 2 weeks. Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Liberia, and I think Ghana. All areas.
All right, brothers and sisters, you have heard it once more. As always, we give God thanks for the leader. We always thank God for those who continue to tune in and like and comment below. And if you're listening and you're not yet on the Lord's side and you so desire to do so, you can contact the church, email, via telephone. Links will be in the description below. Baptism, you have biblical questions for Pastor Jennings. Link will be in the description as well. So I'll be signing off at this point. Peace be unto you.